It may sound like an idea straight out of a science fiction novel, but what if we could live underwater? Imagine vast cities beneath the waves, bustling with human activity, all while surrounded by the fascinating mysteries of the ocean. Stick around, because this question isn't just about science fiction. It's about scientific possibilities. And I promise, by the end of this episode, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. So why would anyone want to live underwater in the first place? Earth is 71% covered in water, yet we occupy only a fraction of the dry land available. As our population grows, the demand for space and resources skyrockets. Moving underwater could alleviate overcrowding, provide new sources of food, and even give humanity a thrilling opportunity to explore our planet's largest and most mysterious biome, the ocean. But wait, didn't humans evolve to live on land? How could we possibly adapt to life underwater? That's where technology and innovation come in. First off, we would need pressurized underwater habitats. Think of them as futuristic submarines, complete with all the necessities for human life: oxygen, food, waste management, and protection from the crushing depths. Speaking of pressure, let's talk numbers. The deeper you go, the higher the pressure. At 1,000 meters below sea level, the weight of water pressing down is equivalent to the load of a 747 jetliner on every square meter. To counteract this pressure, we'd rely on advanced materials like graphene, a super strong, ultra-light material that can endure extreme conditions. With graphene and other state-of-the-art materials, we could build bubble-shaped cities able to withstand these punishing pressures. But survival isn't only about structure. We also need air to breathe. Underwater habitats would need efficient oxygen-generating systems. Currently, researchers are exploring artificial gills, a technology designed to extract oxygen directly from water, similar to how fish breathe. If successful, this could revolutionize the concept of underwater living. Now, let's talk about food. Would sushi become an everyday meal? Quite possibly. Underwater farming could become the next big thing. We're already seeing examples of this today with underwater greenhouses like the Nemo's Garden project in Italy. These farms grow crops such as lettuce and basil right beneath the waves, using the natural temperature regulation and CO2 available in the ocean. Imagine waking up and picking your breakfast from a floating greenhouse, all while a school of fish swims by. However, living underwater wouldn't be all fun and games. The ocean is home to some pretty scary neighbors. Think giant squids, sharks, and venomous jellyfish. Plus, there's the issue of light. Sunlight only penetrates the ocean up to about 200 meters. Beyond that, it's pitch black. Buildings would have to rely on bioluminescence, LEDs, or other lighting technologies to simulate a day-night cycle. Which brings us to another critical point: mental health. The absence of sunlight, constant isolation, and the strange acoustics of underwater life could take a toll on mental well-being. To combat this, architects and engineers could design underwater spaces to be as psychologically comforting as possible, with windows providing views of aquatic life, soft lighting, and even simulated sounds of wind and birdsong to remind residents of the surface world. But could living underwater actually save the planet? Imagine this. Underwater cities could be powered entirely by renewable energy. Ocean currents, waves, and even the thermal gradient between warm surface water and cold, deep water could generate limitless power. This means we could harness the very environment around us to develop more sustainable ways of living. And while we're at it, what about waste management? That's another puzzle, but one with promising solutions. Scientists are investigating marine bacteria that can break down waste and even convert it into usable energy. Picture a system where your leftovers not only vanish, but help power your lights. How's that for efficiency? There are, of course, many challenges to consider. How would we escape in case of an emergency? Could underwater living affect human physiology over time? Would it further disturb marine ecosystems already suffering from climate change and pollution? Interestingly, history offers a glimpse of what might come. In 1962, Jacques Cousteau led a project called Con Shelf Ui, where aquanauts lived in an underwater habitat to test human adaptability. Since then, other experimental habitats like the Aquarius Reef Base in Florida have continued to push the envelope, proving that humans can endure staying underwater for weeks at a time. Now, let's fast forward into a possible future. Imagine kids attending underwater schools, learning about marine life through their classroom windows. Imagine workplaces surrounded by coral reefs, where your coffee break includes snorkeling with turtles. Imagine healthcare facilities using advanced marine compounds to develop groundbreaking medicines. And yes, imagine weekend trips to surface resorts for a dose of sunshine and fresh air. But there's also a dystopian side to this vision. Would underwater cities be exclusively for the rich? Could this innovation accelerate inequalities between those who can afford to inhabit this high-tech world and those left behind on land? These are questions humanity must address if we decide to dive headfirst into underwater living. And finally, let's take a moment to appreciate just how ambitious this idea is. Living underwater is not just about survival. It's about an entirely new way of existing. It's about humanity reinventing itself, finding harmony with the natural world in ways we've never dreamed possible. It's about peering into the abyss and saying, yes, we belong here too. So, what if we could live underwater? The answer could redefine what it means to be human.